My name is Sean, and I'll be leading you through a few poses this day just to check in, just to connect, giving life a little break to come back to yourself, come back to your body, come back to your breath. Hopefully feel a little bit better and more grounded afterwards. So I welcome you to come to the mat, come to a comfortable seat, maybe up on a cushion, maybe cross-legged, maybe some other sitting position. And please feel free to make any adjustments that you need for your body anytime during this practice. So let's begin by just taking a comfortable seat, sitting down, finding that balance between the two sides, sitting on both sit bones, feeling the spine lengthen upwards, up through the crown of the head, and roll the shoulders back a few times. Maybe squeezing up towards the ears, holding for a moment, and then releasing back down. Resting the hands on your lap. Lifting the chest slightly, tucking the belly in slightly, and then closing down the eyes. Just breathing here. Filling the lungs and the belly with every inhalation. Releasing and exhaling everything out with your out breath. Taking this first few moments to feel anything that you're experiencing, checking in with how you are today. How are you in the body, in the mind, in the spirit? Just noticing, not passing judgment, just taking the time to be aware, to observe. Perhaps slowing down the breath, taking the time to breathe. And when you're losing focus at any point during the practice, just return to the breath, using the breath as your anchor here. Deep inhales, releasing fully with the exhales. And then slowly opening the eyes. We're going to remove any cushions that are on the mat and come back to a comfortable seat. Maybe cross-legged, maybe switching the legs. If the other leg doesn't get a chance to be on top much, switch it around. And we'll inhale the arms up. Exhale, twist to the right side. The left hand comes on the right thigh, right hand comes into the ground behind you. Go ahead and find your twist, but don't over twist the neck. Keep the neck comfortable. Inhale here, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist a little bit deeper. See if you can drop the shoulders down a little bit. Open the chest. Stay with the twist. Stay with your breath. And release forward. With your next inhale, reaching the arms up again, and exhale, twisting to the left side. Left hand behind you, right hand on the left thigh, drawing the shoulders back. Inhale to lift a little bit higher in your seat, in your posture. Exhale to twist a little bit deeper from the base of the spine. Filling the belly fully with your inhales. And like letting a balloon deflate, exhale it all out. And now returning back to neutral, releasing the arms, walking the hands forward a little bit, getting a nice back body stretch. Taking the arms as far forward as you like. Bowing the head down, taking up space here. And then walking the hands over to one side. So let's start with the right side. You could always do the opposite. Left hand will come onto the right hand. Keep extending your hands out so that you have a lot of space along the left side body. The left sit bone roots down
to extend the opening along the left side body. Just breathing here. Drop the head, relax in the shoulders. And with your next inhale, walk the hands back through the middle and over to the other side. This time the right hand will come on top of the left for an additional stretch along the right side body. The right sit bone grounds down, letting your torso fall towards the leg. Deep breathing here. Finding space. And now with your next inhale, walking the hands back through the middle and returning them to the legs. From here, we're going to move into a tabletop, so all fours. And go ahead and start by sitting back in a child's pose. So child's pose, your feet want to come towards the heels. The arms may extend forward or may come alongside the body. So see what works for you right now. Just keeping it soft, not forcing anything, just taking a pause, slowing down the breath. Maybe the head rests down all the way to the mat or onto your hands or stacked fists. Finding a supportive way to land. Feeling that you're grounding down. That gravity is drawing you towards the earth. And you're just breathing here. That's all you're here to do, really. Just breathe. Whether it's this practice or your life on this planet, we're just here to breathe. And now we're going to walk the hands forward a little bit. Coming up into all fours. Inhale, press into the ground, press into the mat, and look up. Drop the belly down. Lift the chest. And when you exhale, press into the hands, round the spine, tuck the chin towards the chest. Inhale, look up. Draw the shoulders back. Let the belly fall, lifting the tailbone. And exhale, round the spine. Tuck the tailbone, draw the belly in, press through the hands. And one more time at your own pace. Keep finding a little bit more space and also hang out anywhere that feels good. You don't need to start any movement unless you feel like your body is ready for that. If you want to pause at some point, then please do. We'll come back to a neutral spine here. Look back towards your back hip, and so the left side, if you're turning the left side first, will turn to look towards the left hip, but your hip stays where it is. My hip is going to stay above the knee as I get a little bit of a twist. The spine stays relatively neutral, the back is relatively flat, and you're just squeezing in through the side body here, looking at the left side, left hip area, and then release that and turn the other way. So we're going to squeeze the other direction. Remember, the hips stay relatively still, and you just bring the head and the shoulder around, getting a nice stretch along the side body. This is where you're probably able to feel it. Coming back to tabletop, the hands are underneath the shoulders, and so we're going to walk them forward, maybe one hand print, and now tuck your toes, lift the hips, coming up into a downward facing dog. Walk your dog out, lengthening through the back body. So we're pressing into the floor to find this lift. Really press into the floor, finding that you can come a little bit higher with the hips. The belly is coming towards the legs. Maybe you keep walking out the legs and bending the knees here, or perhaps you slow it down, finding stillness. Bringing the heels towards the floor, getting a nice stretch through the hamstrings and the calves. Breathing here, finding length through the whole back body. And with your next inhale, come all the way forward, lengthening the torso forward over the hands. And we'll just pause here in plank. Finding your plank, the hands are under the shoulders, the heels are pressed back, the belly's pulling in. Just breathing here. If you ever need a break, you can bring the knees down to the floor. And now we're going to lower down. If you want more work, you'll lower straight down. Otherwise, bring your knees to the floor first. And we'll go knees, chest, chin. Keep the elbows squeezed in as you lower down between the hands. Pull the chest forward, press up, release the feet, and come into a cobra. Light back bend here. Lower all the way down. And one more time. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower down. Let's do this one more time. This time we're going to extend the arms forward. Reaching as far forward as you can. Keeping the neck neutral so that you're looking towards the floor. The back of the neck is long. And lift the chest. Lift the arms. Breathing here. The legs are strong. The legs are engaged. Pressing into the floor with the tops of the feet. Just breathing here. Now with the next exhale, lowering all the way to the floor, bringing your head onto your hands. Maybe swaying the hips. Good. And then we'll come up into a Sphinx pose. So you're going to bring your arms in. The hands are under the shoulders. Elbows are in as much as they can come. And then you're going to walk your hands a little bit more forward so that the hands are coming just along where the face is. And now you're going to press up, finding Sphinx pose. When we look down, you should be able to see that the elbows are just in front of the shoulders, not too far back. And so I'm going to walk my hands a little bit farther forward. And looking down at the arms, they're parallel to the side of the mat. So my hands are not out, in, they are just straight. You can open up the fingers wide, the middle fingers pointed forward, making sure that the neck is relaxed here, pressing into the hands, lifting through the chest, pressing through the arms as well to find this lift, keeping your neck happy, so not lifting too high or dropping too low, but just keeping the neck relatively neutral. Finding your Sphinx pose. If it's too much, on the lower back, you can squeeze the thighs together, also pressing the thighs into the floor may release some of that tension. And now lowering down. Using the hands once more to press into the floor, just underneath the shoulders or a little bit back. Keep those elbows squeezed in. Keep the knees on the floor as you press up and then sit back into a child's pose. Finding your child's pose again. The head rests on the hands, releasing the lower back here. Maybe you feel like bringing your head all the way to the floor. If that's an option, go for it. Maybe the arms come back. Just finding the pose that suits you. And now inhale to come up. We're going to tuck the toes and make our way into a squat. So when you're squatting, you may find, we're going to just move in this way, you may find that you can't bring the heels to the floor, and that's fine. Sometimes what you could do is roll the mat over a few times to bring the heels onto the mat. Depending on how thick your mat is, that could work. Another option would be to use some kind of pillow or cushion or blanket, a rolled blanket underneath the heels. Some people bring their heels up onto the blocks, so if you have yoga blocks, you could use those as well. So any of those options may work. You want to be comfortable, you want to feel like you're supported here. Once you found your squat, the feet are about hip width, and then the toes are pointed outwards, so your feet are kind of like this. If you look down, you'll see like a V shape. And now let's use the inside of the arm to press, not the inside, the upper part of the arm to press into the inside of the leg. Bringing the palms together. The legs press into the arms press into the legs. Here we bring the palms together in prayer pose. Lift the chest, draw the shoulders back and down. Making sure the neck is free of strain. Just pausing here. Breathing, concentrating on the breath. Keeping the neck comfortable, the back is relatively straight. Maybe your eyes are closed here. And then bringing the right hand to the floor, we're going to reach down as far as you can. Reach, 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 reach. And then the left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. And my arms are in one long line. So finding that long line from fingertip to fingertip. It may look different on your body. That's the idea. We're all built differently. So just opening up the chest here. This is our target areas. To open up the chest, open up the shoulders, finding some space that we don't always find, we don't normally find. Looking towards the top hand, if the neck is okay with that. If you want to go a little deeper, and you can, if it's an option for you, you could always add a strap to this or a belt if you can't reach fully. But what we'll do is take the left arm, so the top arm, and start to bring it around so the top of the hand is pressing into the lower back. Just finding contact here. Maybe you're pausing and that's enough. If you want to go deeper, that arm will reach even further, and then this bottom arm will reach around by bending the elbow and bringing it around and up to meet the other hand. And here what you could do is perhaps touch, perhaps clasp the hands together, and then start to draw the shoulders back a little bit. Keep looking up if your neck is comfortable that way. Opening the chest, opening this heart space, deep breaths. Eyes can be open or closed. And slowly release. We're going to move into the other side. So this time the left arm comes out as far as you can reach. Reach as far as you can, walk the hands out. Finding that place on the floor, maybe the fingertips or the palm touch the floor. And then the opposite arm will reach up as far as you can, finding that length. The two arms are extended out from your torso, really reaching. And then if you want a little bit more, if you want to go deeper, then that top arm can come around towards the lower back, maybe just resting here, the back of the hand on the lower back. If you want to keep going, then that bottom arm is going to bend. The elbow bends just by the leg, and the hand reaches back for the other hand. Maybe the hands touch. Here you could always use a strap or a blanket or a thin blanket or a shawl or a belt, something like that. And maybe you clasp. If you do, then keep drawing the top shoulder away behind you, lifting the chest. Breathing here. Looking up only if the neck says yes to that. And when you're ready, you'll slowly release. Bringing both hands down in front of you.
And let's come to a seat, extending the legs forward. From here, we'll come into a caterpillar pose, taking a forward stretch, staying for a little bit longer than we would in a yang pose. This will be a yin version, so we'll raise the arms up, reaching for the ceiling. Reaching, 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 finding that length, and then folding forward. If you find that this is challenging for you to find the forward bend, or if you have lower back issues, then one option is to come up onto a cushion to sit a little bit higher. Another option would be to take the legs in a different formation. Maybe you take the legs a little bit wider. Maybe you don't even go into a forward fold if it's a strain on your back. So some options here when you do come forward would be to bring the arms together underneath the knees. Maybe that's a good place for you. Or taking the arms forward. You can relax the feet here. So soften the feet, remind the feet to just take a break. Let the head drop down, the arms reach forward. And if you feel like you need a little bit more support, then this would be a good place to add a few pillows, some cushions. And that could be as high as here or even here, where you can just stack up some sofa cushions and just rest your head, relax. Be here, be anywhere in the forward bend that feels okay for your body. I rather like having my palms facing up to be in a more receptive place. Opening up to the possibility of receiving. Some of us become so good at giving. Giving, giving, giving. But to do something very different, to be receptive and open to being gifted something, to being the recipient of energy, of time, of attention, any of those things. That's something that's quite valuable and what all of us probably need to do a little bit more of. So using this opportunity to slow down, connecting with the body, bringing yourself into a place of receptivity, seeing what's there, slowing down, coming to a place of contemplation, just pausing long enough to listen to the breath, listen to the body, to soften, to not be forceful here, maybe taking the hands a little bit farther away, letting the torso come further towards the legs as time goes on. Relaxing the muscles in this pose. You shouldn't have to hold any position. Just letting gravity do its work to assist you here. And maybe reflecting on being receptive in your life. So what does that look like for you? Are you the person who's always going somewhere, always doing something, always has plans? Is always extending your hand to help someone else? Putting yourself last, putting others first, always being busy. If that's you, or if that's you today, or if that's you sometimes, I would advise just to take this opportunity to slow it down, to check in with yourself and give yourself this gift of being quiet, of being still, of not forcing anything or pushing anything, pushing any agenda, going out of your way to help someone, and instead just
being here with yourself, to listen to your breath, to drop in and check in with what are your current needs? What do you desire in your life? Where is there some deficiency or lacking in your life? And what about putting some energy there? Or just being open to receiving from others and not going out of your way to do the opposite, to put your energy into someone else, rather to use that energy for yourself right now. Staying with the breath here, we're going to come out in just a moment. So no sudden movements, but when you inhale next,
You can walk the hands in, start to sit back up.
Take the hands behind you, the fingertips pointed back. And just open up the front body, resting on the hands. Finding a little bit of space. Notice the sensations in the legs. Maybe there's something that speaks to you right now. Maybe you can feel some tingling, some numbness, or some energy flow. We're opening up the meridians. Letting that energy flow. Sometimes it's very subtle. Sometimes we don't feel it at all. And other times we do. So just taking the time to be open to that discovery. Maybe taking a little movement through the feet, through the legs. Just breathing here. Rebounding. Coming back into equilibrium. And when you're ready, you could take Shavasana if it's part of your practice. If you have time right now to just lie on the mat and be still for a few moments, lying out, taking up space. Otherwise, come to a comfortable seat. Sitting up tall, feeling that you're grounded into the earth. Feeling the shoulders drop back and down. Making sure the head is free of strain. Lifting slightly through the collarbone. Tucking the belly in. Tucking the tailbone. Closing the eyes. Just pausing here. Checking in, noticing how you feel. And then bringing the palms together at the heart center in prayer pose. Thank you for sharing this time practicing with me today.